What do you think has happened here? Where do we go from here?
See, Rahul, as far as the Chinese claims are concerned on what I insist on calling the boundary line and not the border, because the border is something that is formalized. Both in the LAC, there are boundary claims by them and counterclaims by us. And then in the McMahon line, which is what has happened right now between the Bhutan and junction between Bhutan, McMahon line, Arunachal, and that line runs all the way right to the tri-junction, which is the Myanmar, China, India boundary. Now, Chinese have a history of intruding and coming in and trying to force their way in. And when they manage to push you off, then they claim that they've always been there. The second thing is these disputes will continue because the Chinese have in the past looked at the possibility, and this matter died many years ago, actually 59-60. But then again, when the Galwan incident happened, the Chinese threw up again the 1960 proposal, which was basically a swap proposal that we accept your presence in Arunachal. And this was part of the arrangements that came between China and India in the two prime ministerial visits of 1993 and 1996, when they talked of peace and tranquility, that Chinese will not disturb populated areas by India, and India will gradually go around to accepting the Chinese claim lines around eastern Ladakh. Anyway, that fell through because of a variety of reasons. The bottom line being, India has decided to build its infrastructure all along the boundary from Ladakh right up to Arunachal. And this is something that irks the Chinese. If you remember, the Doklam standoff also happened in and around the Bhutan-India area, which is a bit more east of what has happened right now. Sorry, a bit more west of what has happened right now, because that is near the north of the Siliguri corridor. This area is the other side of Bhutan where the clashes are taking place, because Chinese have historically laid claim on Tawang, saying it is part of southern Tibet and it is a monastery which is holy to the Tibetan belief, and therefore Tibet is part of China, so they say. So therefore this belongs to China. Now in 1950s, there was a very aggressive movement carried out by the governor of Assam under a gentleman called Major Bob Khatin, Military Cross, who went with a patrol and occupied Tawang, and thereafter Tawang has remained with India. Sadly for the Chinese, they took over our positions in Tawang, which our troops, due to confusing orders in 62, were asked to hold on, then abandon, then hold on again. So in the confusion, Chinese came in up to Tawang, which could have otherwise been very well defended. But after that, lesson learned, and this is part of the findings of the Henderson-Brooks report, that we will not abandon Tawang, whatever be the case. And therefore, this is a sticking point with the Chinese, and we will see more of it. Whatever the claims by the MEA, the talks will finally lead to tranquility, and we will be back to status quo ante. It is not going to happen. The Chinese are more and more going to bother us, and our firm presence there is something that China has not been able to digest, and especially the drubbing they got at Galwan.
More inputs coming in. Just hold your thoughts, and I want to go across to Srinjoy Chaudhary. Srinjoy, a